Some unusually harsh words for President Obama from former President Bill Clinton on his repeated promise that if you like your health plan, you can keep it.
The big lesson is that we're better off with this law than without it. I personally believe, even if it takes a change in the law, the president should honor the commitment the federal government made to those people and let them keep what they got.
Here now, radio talk show hosts Chris Plante of The Chris Plante Show and Leslie Marshall of the LeslieMarshallShow.com. So, Chris, let me start with you. Why would President Clinton come out now and say what he did?
Well, that's a perfectly good question. You know, these presidents are not really fond of each other to begin with, I think. And I suspect that President Clinton is taking a shot at President Obama here, probably to benefit his wife, Hillary Clinton. But it is rather ironic when you have President Clinton lecturing President Obama about truthfulness. President Clinton, after all, had his law license suspended for lying under oath. He's the man that wagged his finger at us and told us I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky, and authored the line, it depends on what the meaning of the word is.
Right.
So if you're President Obama and you're being lectured about truthfulness by President Clinton, it's time to take stock.
Yeah, but could it be, Leslie, as well, that could President Clinton be actually helping President Obama? Because the administration floated this trial balloon yesterday, suggesting that they may, in fact, give stipends to people who've had to pay higher premiums as a result of Obamacare. So now you have President Clinton coming out and saying, hey, I think we should do something just like that. Could he be helping President Obama?
That's an interesting take, Gretchen, and the first time I've heard that one as a Democrat sitting here. But I have to tell you, no. I have to say I agree a bit with Chris, although not on the blue dress impeachment road. I do not want to relive. And I'm wearing a blue dress today, of all things. Right? No, the bottom line here is I am certainly hoping and praying that former President Clinton's wife is going to run. I think it helps both him and her to distance themselves a bit from President Obama, and not from the Democrats or the Affordable Care Act, but quite frankly, appeasing the masses, if you will, on both sides of the aisle, which I think we all know that any next presidential candidate needs to do. They need to embrace both sides, left and right.
Well, it's interesting because it wasn't so long ago that President Obama, after Bill Clinton's convention speech, said this about the former president.
Somebody emailed me after his speech. They said, you need to appoint him Secretary of Explaining Stuff. That's pretty good. I like that. Secretary of Explaining Stuff. Explaining.
So did he do just that for the president today? Or is the president, Chris, sitting back right now in the Oval Office going, oh my gosh, I have to respond again to something President Clinton did?
I think B. I think the latter. And honestly, this is a hole in the side of President Obama's hull, quite honestly. I mean, whether the news media latches onto it or not is a separate question. But when, honestly, President Clinton is damning President Obama for not telling the truth, for being untruthful, no fewer than 35, perhaps as many as 40 or more times, directly telling the American people something that we now know he knew was not true. And I think he's recommending to President Obama that he fess up, come out and admit that what he did was wrong and try to put it behind him. It's something that President Clinton has some experience with.
It's more than that, though, because he's trying to offer up a fix which, by all accounts, would cost the American people $1.2 trillion. I got to wrap it up there, but thanks to both of you. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks.
Thank you, Gretchen.